Who would have imagined that a simple act of kindness could unravel everything I knew? It all started with a jacket, a moment of warmth that spiraled into chaos. Once upon a time, there was a dedicated nurse named Esperanza who worked tirelessly at Metro General Hospital. The staff tirelessly navigates the demands of back-to-back shifts driven by the need to endure and support their community. 3 weeks prior, amidst the harshness of February, under the cloak of night, I stumbled upon a woman crumpled in our lobby, trembling and on the brink of consciousness. In a moment of instinct, I enveloped her in my jacket, my voice rising as I called for assistance. She found herself in a chilling embrace, her body trembling with the cold, exposed and fragile. While I acted in a way that reflects true character, little did I realize that this woman would completely transform my life in ways I never imagined. 2 weeks later, I find myself in the hospital administrator's office, my heart racing as I brace for what feels like impending doom. Just then, she enters the room. Inside, in the bustling heart of the corporate world, there stood a figure of immense influence and ambition. Artemis Vale, the visionary leader of Nexus Industries, commanded respect and admiration, shaping the landscape of business with her strategic prowess. In the heart of the bustling metropolis, a tapestry of lives unfolds, each thread vibrant and unique. Among the towering skyscrapers and winding streets, stories of resilience, ambition, and camaraderie weave together, painting a vivid picture of the women who call this city home. Their journeys, filled with dreams and challenges, echo through the urban landscape, creating a symphony of experiences that resonate. In her hands, she cradles my jacket, the very one I believed was gone forever. For all eternity, she wishes to express her gratitude in a meaningful way. It's a challenge for me to consider getting close to someone like her, given my current situation. In the midst of my struggles, I find myself sending money back to my mother, while the weight of student loans pulls me under. Each day, I toil tirelessly, pushing myself to the brink, all in a quest to make ends meet. Encounter. She resides in luxurious penthouses, while I struggle to make ends meet in my modest studio apartment. Yet there's a certain magic in the way her gaze meets mine, as if I'm the sole soul who has ever truly recognized her humanity. At this moment, she appears at my workplace, determined to look after me, and I'm starting to develop feelings for someone who could afford to own my whole world. In a quaint little area where the sun kissed the rooftops and laughter echoed through the streets, life unfolded in a tapestry of stories. Each corner held a memory, each house a tale waiting to be told. The scent of blooming flowers danced in the air, mingling with the sounds of children playing and neighbors chatting. It was a place where every day brought new adventures and friendships blossomed like the vibrant gardens that adorned the yards. The flash of cameras ignites the air as the ever-watchful eyes of the paparazzi begin to take notice. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there was a tale waiting to be told. It began with a single thread woven into the fabric of existence, leading to adventures yet to unfold. My colleagues believe I've lost my mind, and the thought of becoming engulfed in her universe fills me with dread. Before we dive into this tale, get ready. Prepare yourselves for a delightful surprise awaits you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe. The weariness creeps in, wrapping around me like a heavy blanket. The echo of my footsteps reverberates through the sterile hallway of Metro General Hospital, each step sending a shiver through my bones. The fluorescent lights dance above, casting a wavering glow, casting deep shadows on the weathered linoleum floors. As the clock strikes 3 in the stillness of a Tuesday morning, I find myself immersed in a world of my own. It's the third time this week that I find myself working a double shift. The weight of my scrubs presses down, a constant reminder against my skin and my weary feet. The discomfort of worn-out footwear that has traveled many miles. The unmistakable scent of disinfectant, intertwined with an elusive aroma that I can't quite place, filled the air. The scent of antiseptic fills the air as I make my rounds. My name is Esperanza Morales, and I'm a registered nurse in the cardiac unit, the wing of this hospital where resources are scarce and the staff is stretched thin. On most nights, it seems as though I am lost in a vast ocean of unending obligations and overwhelming expectations. This evening unfolds just like the others. My journey has taken me stood on their feet for 15 hours straight, tending to patients, delivering medications, and striving to bring solace to those who they tremble in fear, their hearts heavy with pain. For 3 long days, the heating system has been out of order, and each day the administration offers empty promises of repair. Rest assured, a solution is on the horizon. In this place, the promise of soon always seems to linger just out of reach. I wrap my frayed jacket snugly around my shoulders as I make my way, making their way to the nurse's station. Once there was an old brown leather jacket, a cherished relic from my grandmother. It stands as one of the few treasures I hold dear, was all that remained of her. The leather, worn and softened by the passage of time, carries with it a lingering scent that tells stories of its journey. Whispers of her fragrance lingered in the air. With the chill of winter creeping in, I find myself settling for this coat as a new one is just beyond my reach. As I navigate the delicate balance of supporting my mother in East Los Angeles, while also tackling the weight of my student loans, it feels like there's hardly any room to breathe. There's barely enough for groceries, much less for luxuries like warm clothing. Tonight, the cardiac wing holds a stillness that feels different, almost serene. Many of my patients are now resting at last, discovering tranquility after challenging days. As I stepped into room 314, I made my way to Mrs. Rodriguez, eager to see how she was doing. She carefully tucked in her blanket, ensuring that her four was flowing just right. She has spent the last 2 weeks in this place following a significant heart event. Assault. Every day her family comes to see her. They arrive with dishes crafted from their own kitchens, ready to share and fill the A space, filled with joyous laughter and the melodic flow of Spanish conversations evoking memories of my own family gatherings. Longing fills my heart as I dream of the day I can embrace my mother once more. Time slips away like sand through fingers caught in the whirlwind of work and school, leaving little room for what truly matters. In room 318, there resides Mr. Chan, a man of 70 years, whose life is woven with tales and experiences. Underwent a significant procedure last week. All evening he has been yearning for those cool, refreshing ice chips, and I ensure that a steaming cup awaits him fresh and inviting. His daughter made the journey from San Diego to be by his side, and she has been resting in the forefour. 3 long nights, he found himself perched on an uncomfortable chair beside his bed. With a gentle touch, I set down an additional. She wrapped a cozy layer around her shoulders, a comforting embrace, before stepping out into the world beyond the door. In the tapestry of everyday life, there are moments that shine brightly where simple gestures weave warmth into the fabric of our days. These small acts of kindness, though they may seem insignificant, carry a weight of meaning that transcends their simplicity. Hold immense significance for those who find themselves in fear and uncertainty. Them. As I stroll by the vending machines close to the elevator, a loud rumble escapes from my stomach, echoing my hunger. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there was a singular being embarking on a journey of self-discovery. This tale unfolds with the adventures and experiences that shape their path, revealing the essence of who they truly are. It's been hours since I last had a bite, and the sandwich I packed for the day has vanished into thin air. The prices of the items in the vending machine are utterly absurd. $3 for a sandwich that feels like it's been sitting around too long with a flavor reminiscent of cardboard. I sift through my A's. I rummage through the depths of my pockets. My fingers brushed against something crumpled. To my surprise, I unearthed 2 wrinkled dollar bills, along with a handful of coins each, with its own story to tell. It may not seem like much at first glance, yet perhaps there's a spark of potential waiting to be ignited. I need to grab a cup of coffee to stay alert for the remainder of my shift. As I step into the lobby, I find it almost deserted, a quiet space waiting for stories to unfold. Only a handful of individuals were spread out across the rows of plastic seats. There are those who are bound by blood holding on tightly, watchful gathering. In the quiet of the early morning, a group of individuals sits in anticipation, each one a story waiting to unfold as they await their appointments. As I stroll by the security guard, Miguel gives me a knowing nod. In a place where time seems to stand still, there exists a figure who has woven himself into the very fabric of the establishment. His presence is a constant, a familiar face that has greeted countless others over the years. Each staff member, with their unique stories and quirks, has found a friend in him as he knows them all by name, creating a tapestry of connections that enriches the atmosphere around him. The brew from the machine brews a concoction that leaves much to be desired, yet the jolt of caffeine is essential for surviving the next 6 hours ahead. However, in that moment she comes into view, She sits hunched in one of the chairs by the window, lost in her thoughts, her body twisted into an awkward place. Initially, I wonder if she is lost in slumber, but as I approach, the truth becomes clear. There's a sense that all is not well. Her skin glows with a ghostly pallor, a shade reminiscent of twilight, and she trembles as if caught in a chilling breeze. Her breath comes in quick, shallow gasps, and a faint bluish hue colors her lips, drawing immediate attention. Ignites a flurry of thoughts in my mind. Once upon a time, a woman found herself in a predicament that seemed insurmountable. I hurry over. In that moment, all weariness faded away, overshadowed by the urgency of the situation at hand. She dons a garment that exudes luxury and elegance. She wore a business suit that hung heavily on her, wrinkled and damp, as if she had braved the cold, snowy outdoors for hours on end. Her raven locks her hair was a wild tangle, and glistening tears clung to her cheeks like fragile crystals. She lies still, her breath barely a whisper yet. Her body quivers with a subtle intensity, shivering under the relentless grip of the chill. I see the clues without delay. In the chilling embrace of winter, when the world outside is blanketed in white, a silent threat lurks. It creeps in unnoticed, wrapping its icy fingers around those who wander too far into the cold. The body, once warm and vibrant, begins to succumb to the relentless bite of the frigid air. A tale of survival unfolds where every heartbeat counts, and the struggle against the elements becomes a battle of will. In this stark landscape, the fight for warmth and life takes center stage, reminding us of nature's unforgiving power. In a moment of instinct, I shed my grandmother's jacket and envelop myself in its warmth. Draped gracefully over her shoulders, the leather retains the lingering warmth of my body, a soft reminder of the connection we share. With gentle hands, I wrap it snugly around her chest and arms, ensuring she feels secure and warm. In her moment of vulnerability, she radiates beauty, her sharp cheekbones casting delicate shadows and her long eyelashes fluttering softly against her porcelain skin, the surface that holds secrets. She appeared out of nowhere, a mystery wrapped in enigma, leaving me with countless questions about her origins and the path that brought her to this moment. Yet in this moment, it holds no significance. What truly holds significance is seeking her assistance. As I reached for my phone to summon the emergency team, my other hand remained gently resting on her shoulder, a silent gesture of support as I tried to convey my strength, all the warmth I can muster. In a matter of moments, the team appears, and I lend them a hand, move her onto a stretcher. As they roll her away, I steal a fleeting look at her expression. Once again, she lingers in my thoughts, a haunting presence that refuses to fade, a deep sorrow that envelops her, reaching far beyond her own heart. In the midst of a challenging situation in the healthcare realm, the world finds itself grappling with unprecedented circumstances that test the resilience of communities and the strength of medical systems. Curiosity swirled in the air as I pondered the journey that led her to this very spot. What burden weighed upon her heart that brought her to her knees? In the quiet stillness of a hospital lobby, solitude wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. The remainder of my shift unfolds in a haze of familiar duties and anxious musings. I hold on. As I ponder the woman clad in her luxurious attire, a wave of concern washes over me. I can't help but question her well-being, wondering if she is truly all right, There are loved ones who carry a heavy heart filled with concern for her well-being. It dawned on me that my jacket was still missing, yet it felt trivial in the grand scheme of things when I thought about her. In a world where harmony reigns, the essence of life flourishes, and every moment is a treasure waiting to be discovered. I wish for her comfort nestled in a hospital bed, surrounded by the care she needs. 2 weeks pass, and I find myself nearly let the incident fade away into the past. The rhythm of life at Metro General never slows down, a constant whirlwind of activity and energy, and my mind is racing, too occupied to linger on just one crisis amidst the chaos. In the realm of daily endeavors, I engage in my tasks. The hours I spend at work, I send money back to my mother while also striving to stay on top of my ongoing education courses. At long last, the heating system arrives. The situation was resolved, yet a new challenge emerged as the elevator fell into disrepair, compelling everyone to take the stairs instead. In every corner, a whisper of discontent lingers, as if the very walls hold secrets of their own. A fresh challenge emerges, one that the administration vows to tackle yet. It simply doesn't happen. It leaves me puzzled when a message arrives summoning me to the office of the hospital administrator as the sun began to rise on a Thursday morning. The world slowly stirred awake. As I step into the unfamiliar territory of the administrative wing, a wave of curiosity washes over me. My mind races, searching for the reason behind this unexpected summons. Perhaps a misstep was taken. Have I stumbled into a misstep with my medication? Was there a patient who voiced their concerns? What can you tell me about the care I receive? With trembling hands, I navigate the soft carpeted corridors of the upper echelon of the building, in stark contrast to the cold clinical nature of the patient areas. The secretary to the administrator, a woman in her middle years, her eyes warm and inviting gestures for me to take a seat in the waiting area. I find myself nestled in a leather chair that holds more inviting than any piece in my home. Seeking solace for my restless mind, gazing through the expansive windows that stretch from floor to ceiling, she gazes at the city skyline, a sight so unfamiliar to her, a stark contrast to the windowless patient rooms where she spends her days. As the office door swings open, my anticipation builds. Ready to greet Mr. Davidson, the hospital administrator. Out from the shadows, a woman emerges clad in a flawlessly tailored black suit that speaks of elegance and confidence. She stands tall, and she exuded elegance. Her dark hair meticulously styled in a way that likely surpassed my weekly earnings. Her essence lingered in the air, a gentle reminder of the moments shared and the stories yet to unfold. Fills the space with a commanding presence that compels me to adjust my posture in my seat. She carries an air of recognition, as if we've crossed paths before. Yet I find myself grappling with the elusive memory of where I might have encountered her in the past. Her gaze meets mine, and I'm captivated by the depth of her gaze held a world of untold stories, each glance a whisper of secrets waiting to be discovered. Her eyes hold a depth that draws me in. Yet there's an unexpected warmth that envelops me. In her hands she cradles an object rich and warm, its leather surface catching the light just right, causing my heart to flutter with excitement. It belonged to my grandmother, the jacket. It was a moment 2 weeks ago when I found myself wrapping something warm around the woman who was battling the cold. Esperanza Morales. A name that echoes through the corridors of time, carries with it a tale waiting to be told. She inquires, her voice flowing with assurance, yet beneath it lies a subtle trace of vulnerability. I nod, yet remain silent, believing in the strength of my voice to resonate just right. As she reaches out her hand, I can't help but notice her fingers dance gracefully, each one a testament to elegance, adorned with nails that gleamed with perfection. I am Artemis Vale, she declares, and I have a feeling this is meant for you. With hands that quiver, I grasp the jacket, savoring the comforting touch of the leather that feels like home. It is transformed and revitalized, shining brighter than it has in ages. A sudden awareness washes over me, striking deep within. Exhale. In the dimly lit lobby, she stood out a solitary figure, wrapped in a blanket of cold, her breath visible in the frosty air. The woman, once vibrant, now seemed lost in a world that had turned its back on her, battling the chill that seeped into her bones. Yet she has undergone a remarkable change. Gone is the fragile figure I discovered slumped in the chair. She exudes strength and grace and radiating an abundance that surpasses my wildest dreams. You are the one who captured my heart that evening. With great effort, I found the words, my voice barely escaping my lips. In a hushed tone, she nods, and in that moment, a spark ignites in her eyes. Perhaps a sense of thankfulness lingers, or maybe it's something more profound that eludes my understanding. Wishing you a swift return to brighter days. I am, she declares, taking a seat in the chair opposite me. Gratitude flows from my heart, all because of you. The doctor informed me that I was in the initial moments of a chilling descent into the depths of cold. Had you not discovered me in that moment? Had you not wrapped me in your jacket? There was a moment when it felt like the end was near. The gravity of her words envelops me like a heavy mist. In that moment, I became her hero. Once upon a time in the grand tapestry of existence, there were countless tales woven together, each thread representing a unique journey. Every moment was a chapter filled with laughter, tears, and lessons learned along the way. The characters danced through the pages, facing challenges and celebrating victories, all while searching for meaning in the beautiful chaos of their adventures. In a world where strength and grace intertwine, There exists a remarkable woman whose very existence is a testament to the profound impact of a single compassionate gesture. I acted without a second thought. It feels like a dream, as if it's something that it seems like such things are reserved for others, while weary nurses struggle just to make ends meet, barely scraping together enough for their rent. I simply took the path that seemed right, just like anyone else would in my shoes. Indeed, I declare. Yet she gently shakes her head. Absolutely not, she declares with conviction. Many individuals might have strolled by. Many would have thought I was merely another soul resting in the lobby. You noticed that I found myself in a difficult situation, and you stepped in without a moment's pause. You offered me your very own jacket, an item that holds deep significance in your life. A warm flush spreads across my cheeks, igniting a sensation that dances beneath the surface. This is all quite unfamiliar to me. Listen closely, for this is a tale of appreciation. In my realm, compassion flows like a gentle river left unrecognized. Relief washes over me as I hold the jacket close, a silent promise of safety in my embrace. I'm just glad you're okay, I whisper, my heart still racing. I wish to express my gratitude in the right way, she says, leaning in just a bit. I understand the act of sharing. Your return is here, but your jacket falls short. Your actions for me carried a significance that goes beyond what words can express. As I wandered through in a moment of struggle, your compassion shone through a beacon of hope that reassured me of the goodness that still exists among us. Once upon a time, there was something with a voice that draws my gaze deeper into her essence. Underneath the sleek surface remnants of the raw openness I observed that evening. This is a soul who carries the weight of past wounds, a heart that has known pain and has every reason to guard itself. Question the kindness of humanity. It's astonishing to realize how a small act of kindness can resonate so deeply within someone, leaving me feeling both honored and intense. I don't need anything, I reply hastily. My heart is filled with relief knowing you're out of harm's way, yet there's something I must address. She is determined to take action without a doubt. Allow me the pleasure of inviting you to a delightful dinner. Allow me to express my appreciation in a little gesture. As I gaze at her, my mind races to comprehend the question hanging in the air between us. This woman, whoever she may be, she has a desire to invite me out for dinner. She exudes an air of affluence and significance, likely accustomed to dining in the most exquisite establishments and unique locations. In the life of a dedicated nurse, each day unfolds with the rhythm of caring for others, yet the nights often blend into a routine of frugality. A night out in this world is simply the joy of indulging in takeout, a small luxury amidst the hustle of making ends meet, rather than preparing a meal. We inhabit realms so distinct from one another, yet there's an air of mystery surrounding her that captivates my curiosity. Perhaps it's the way her gaze meets mine, as if I hold the key to her world. Chamber, perhaps it's the recollection of her delicate appearance that evening, how deeply human and fragile she appeared beneath it all gleaming brilliance. No matter what it is, I catch myself nodding in agreement. Very well, I respond, astonished by the courage that surged within me. She smiled, and it filled the air with warmth, changes her whole appearance. As the rigid facade begins to soften, transformed into something authentic and comforting. Gratitude spills from her lips, a soft whisper of thanks, and I sense there's a deeper conversation unfolding. As I step out of the administrative office, I find myself nodding in agreement to dinner plans for today. Cradling my grandmother's jacket, I felt a warmth that wrapped around me like a cherished memory. It feels as though the pages of my life have suddenly flipped, revealing a new and unexpected chapter. I'm uncertain about the true identity of Artemis Vale and the mysteries that surround them. She yearns for something from me, yet deep down, I understand that things will never return to how they once were. The gentle gesture of wrapping a stranger in warmth. My jacket has ignited a chain of events stirring emotions that are as exhilarating as they are daunting. I make my way back to the cardiac unit. With a flutter in my heart, my thoughts soared, filled with endless questions and a world of possibilities. Whatever unfolds from here, I am certain that this is merely the start of an incredible journey. The coffee shop that Artemis selects is a far cry from the usual haunts I visit. In place of the bustling chain restaurant by the hospital where the tables cling with remnants of past meals and the coffee carries a hint of char, she guides me to a quaint little cafe nestled in the heart of the arts. in a place where the price of living seems to outpace every effort I make in just 60 minutes. Every morning, the barista greets her with a warm smile, crafting her favorite drink with care. Take charge without needing an invitation. I find myself standing there, a sense of unease washing over me as I wear my scrubs and well-worn sneakers while she gazes at me, gracefully draped in a luxurious cashmere sweater that likely surpasses my monthly rent. Feel free to choose anything you like. What do you want? She asks, her hand sweeping toward the menu board filled with unfamiliar drinks. I glance over the prices and sense the feeling of weightlessness in the pit of your being. Once upon a time, in a bustling cafe, a curious soul found themselves staring at a menu. Among the delightful offerings, one particular coffee drink caught their eye, glimmering with promise. But as they glanced at the price, their heart skipped a beat. $12. A moment of contemplation ensued, weighing the allure of the brew against the cost. Would this be a sip of magic worth the price? That's the amount I allocate for our food supplies, for 2 moments. I choose a simple cup of coffee, the most affordable option on the menu, and observe as she places an intricate order, a blend of multiple shots and specialty milk, as we discover a cozy table by the window. She glides through the space, radiating an undeniable confidence, as if every corner she touches is meant for her presence. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there was a singular presence that embarked on a journey of self-discovery. This tale unfolds with the essence of a solitary figure, navigating through the twists and turns of life, seeking purpose and connection. Each step taken was a chapter, each moment a lesson. As the story of this individual began to weave itself into the fabric of existence, as I fidget with my hands, a sudden realization washes over me. My skin is cracked and dry, a testament to the endless hand-washing at the hospital. She sees it all, I come to understand, observing how her gaze captures my unease. I appreciate your presence, she murmurs, her slender fingers curling around the warm cup. I had my doubts about whether you would. I nearly held back, I confess, but then a wave of regret washed over me for my candor. Yet there was something about she inspires me to embrace honesty, even when it leaves me exposed. After our encounter, I found myself searching for you online. The way her eyebrows moved, it was lifted just a bit. And what did you uncover? Artemis Vale, the mastermind behind Nexus Industries. With a fortune exceeding $2 billion, they graced the cover of Fortune, a testament to their remarkable journey and success. Featured in a magazine 3 times, I became the youngest woman to ever lead a major tech company. As I took a sip of my coffee, I couldn't help but notice how much better it was than my usual choices. It was a delightful surprise to discover that you're renowned for their elusive nature. They keep their personal life under wraps, steering clear of public romances and the digital world. There are no personal interviews. She nods slowly as if understanding the weight of the moment. Privacy, it seems, is a luxury I can scarcely afford. Comes at a cost. With wealth, it seems that everyone has their hand out seeking a piece of what you have. It can be a challenge to discern whom to rely on. Could that be the reason you found yourself by yourself that evening? In the bustling hospital lobby, she stands tall, but for a fleeting moment her mask slips, revealing a glimmer of anguish that dances across her face. It was a moment that changed everything. My mother, who I hadn't spoken to in 3 long years, suddenly found herself in a hospital bed after a heart attack. The weight of the silence between us loomed large as I faced the reality of her situation. Summoned to her side as the one she relied on in times of need, I hurriedly made my way, but fatigue suddenly overwhelmed me. After pouring my heart and soul into 36 relentless hours chasing the elusive deal, I finally succumbed to exhaustion and collapsed. With a heavy heart, I expressed my regret, and my sincerity is clear. What is her condition at this moment? She is stable. In the midst of healing, she continues to keep her distance from me. With a deliberate motion, she lifts her glass and takes a long sip. Our connection has frayed, leaving us in the aftermath of a disagreement. When I revealed my true self, she struggled to embrace my identity, unable to grasp that my love for women wasn't just a fleeting moment in a moment of clarity, the truth washes over me like a tide. It's the essence of my being the spark that ignites my spirit. This realization, profound and undeniable, shapes the very core of my identity. In a twist of fate, she revealed her truth. This formidable and affluent woman is revealing. a part of their soul to me, and I am filled with a mix of gratitude and fear. That must have been. It was a journey filled with challenges. Yet through it all, I learned the importance of standing on my own, finding strength within myself. Only on myself until that fateful night when a mysterious stranger illuminated my world with unexpected kindness. She appears. Her intense gaze locks onto me, and I can feel the heat rising in my cheeks. Thoughts of you linger in my mind, weaving through my day. The dialogue unfolds endlessly, stretching on for two. Time stretches on much longer than I had planned to linger. She inquires about my job, my loved ones. As I share my dreams, her attentive gaze wraps around my words, making me feel like the most captivating soul in existence. As I share the story of sending money back to my mother, of the long hours spent working double shifts to tackle my student loans, she gazes at me not with pity, but with a spark of admiration for the fire within me. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm glow over the bustling cafe, I realize it's time for me to leave. The familiar hum of chatter grows louder, signaling the arrival of the evening crowd. Another shift awaits me. Tonight, she insists let me take the wheel, but I simply shake my head, choosing instead the bus as my ride. "It's fine, Esperanza," she says, and the way she utters my name sends a flutter through my heart. "Allow me to take care of this. It's the smallest gesture I can offer." Her car is precisely what it was, just as I imagined. A glossy black sedan, likely worth more than the average home. Inside, the seats were pure leather, and in a world filled with gadgets and screens, I find myself hesitant to engage with it all. Yet she navigates through it with the same unwavering assurance that she displays in every aspect of her life. Gliding through the bustling streets effortlessly, they continued to inquire about my journey. As we arrived at the hospital, she turns to face me, her eyes searching mine. "I'd like to see you again if you're willing," she says, "but I don't." It's true, I admit. Our worlds are like distant stars shining in their own unique ways. Perhaps that's what makes it all so intriguing. Adds a touch of intrigue as she responds with a subtle smile. 3 days later, while I'm on the night shift, a whirlwind of chaos unfolds. A sudden chaos unfolds in the cardiac wing. As always, we find ourselves understaffed, grappling with a flurry of emergencies and a malfunctioning computer. In a world where the system falters, chaos reigns as weary souls push through on sheer determination and the buzz of caffeine. Suddenly, an enchanting aroma wafts through the air, captivating their senses and igniting a flicker of hope amidst the turmoil, fills the air. One of the other nurses, Maria, rushes towards me, her eyes wide with urgency, eyes wide with curiosity. Esperanza noticed the hustle and bustle in the break room. It seemed like a 5-star restaurant was being crafted right before their eyes. The chatter of excitement filled the air as they asked for. As I step into the break room, I find myself in a place that feels entirely foreign, a transformation that leaves me in awe. In a grand hall, skilled catering staff move gracefully, setting the stage with exquisite dishes, artfully displayed on pristine white linens. The atmosphere buzzes with anticipation as each detail comes together, creating a feast for the senses. Warming trays brimming with what appears to be exquisite dishes. The aroma wafts through the air, tantalizing my senses and making my mouth water. Standing at the heart of the scene stands Artemis, her expression tinged with a hint of anxiety as she observes my response. "What is this?" I inquire, even though the answer is already clear to me. "It's dinner for your shift." She says it with a gentle smile, understanding the rush of your day. She decided to bring dinner right to you. The kindness is truly. It's a whirlwind of emotions, leaving me caught between laughter and tears. My colleagues are gazing at the scene laid out before us. In awe, I catch snippets of hushed discussions about the identity of this woman and the reasons behind her presence. We are truly grateful for this. The food is nothing short of amazing, with dishes that rival those found in the finest restaurants, ones we could never dream of affording. The bounty is plentiful enough to nourish the whole nursing staff, the orderlies, and even the vigilant security guards standing watch. "This is overwhelming," I say to her, guiding her to a quieter spot. "You can't simply appear at my..." In the heart of the bustling workplace, she poses a question that lingers in the air. "Why not?" she inquires, her voice filled with sincerity. There was a hint of uncertainty in her voice. "You all put in so much effort. When was the last time someone truly recognized your efforts?" She has a point, and that realization adds even more depth to the moment. It can feel like a heavy weight, the sense of being overlooked, as if our efforts are mere whispers in a loud crowd. Yet there's a certain intensity in the air, a kind of focus that feels almost perilous. It's as if the spotlight is shining too brightly, beckoning whispers I'd rather avoid. Conversations will swirl around me and I can sense it looming. They'll be curious about your identity and the reasons behind your interest in me. I am unprepared for such intense examination. Her expression dims a bit, and I notice that she had never thought about this side of things. I apologize. I only wanted to make a difference. It's heartwarming to see such kindness. Even with my doubts, her thoughtfulness truly resonates with me. Her heartfelt concern, her lightening my burdens, shines through as she takes the time to acknowledge the efforts that often fade into the background. Thank you, I whisper, my voice barely above a breath. Such kindness overwhelms me. The remainder of the shifts flow by in a whirlwind of appreciative colleagues and inquisitive inquiries. Each person is eager to discover There was a woman shrouded in mystery, and the nature of my connection with her was elusive. I found myself diverting attention away as I'll do my utmost, yet I can already sense the whispers circulating through the hospital like a relentless tide. 2 weeks later, a beautifully crafted invitation arrives, beckoning me to a charity gala hosted by Artemis. The anticipation builds as I read the elegant words, envisioning the enchanting evening that awaits. In the realm of communication, a messenger arrives bearing a card of exquisite elegance, crafted from stock, that likely surpasses the cost of my weekly grocery budget. This is no ordinary correspondence. It serves a noble purpose destined for a fundraiser, supporting children's hospitals, and I can sense her conviction. This occasion has been selected with care, as she believes I will. The cause is truly inspiring. I dedicate my whole day off to searching for the perfect outfit. The dress I discover In a quaint little shop, I find a piece that is both understated and refined, a deep navy blue garment with long sleeves that gracefully conceal the calluses etched on my hands. I take a moment to borrow it. Shoes borrowed from my neighbor, I set out to transform my hair into something that whispers elegance rather than shouts hospital worker. The venue is in the heart of the city. There lies a magnificent hotel, a realm of opulence that feels like a scene straight out of a film. It is here that Artemis encounters. There I stood in the lobby, and then she appeared a vision in a flowing black gown that seemed to shimmer with elegance, likely worth more than my entire 6-month salary. For months she has adorned her hair in an intricate fashion, a masterpiece that captures the essence of elegance, while her attire complements the artistry of her look. Jewelry that sparkles with every graceful motion. "You look stunning," she says, gently grasping my hand. And in that fleeting instant, a part of me starts to trust her words. The grand ballroom buzzes with a crowd that seems to belong to a realm I've only encountered in the pages of stories. Figures of influence, renowned entrepreneurs, and familiar faces from the glossy pages of magazines. In a world where connections weave like threads, each person is a familiar face, and the air buzzes with shared stories. As I navigate through the sea of smiles and laughter, I feel the warmth of belonging wrap around me like a comforting embrace. There's a nagging sense of being an outsider, a fear that the truth will be uncovered, that I'm not meant to be here. Yet Artemis remains by my side, a steadfast presence in this uncertain journey. By my side as the night unfolded, guiding me through a crowd of faces whose names danced in my memory from the pages of the news. She never reveals the story of our connection or the essence of my being, merely introducing me as her guest, with a pride that fills the air with warmth. When others inquire about my work, she steps back, allowing me to share my story, and I observe the transformation in their expressions when I reveal my profession as a nurse. Some appear awestruck, while others seem indifferent, but Artemis's the expression remains steadfast. The dinner unfolds with grandeur. Each course brings forth dishes I struggle to name, elegantly presented on fine china, that it likely exceeds what I earn in a month. I observe the other guests as they attempt to mimic their movements with the various utensils and cups. Artemis catches sight of In moments of unease, a gentle presence leads me through the steps, ensuring I never feel foolish for my lack of knowledge. As the evening unfolds, I find myself captivated, witnessing the fervor as individuals passionately place bids, each one climbing into the tens of thousands, all for the promise of a getaway. As the days unfold, a week spent at a children's hospital in Guatemala approaches, filled with anticipation and creativity, where packages and artwork await to bring joy and hope. As the auction begins, Artemis raises her paddle with confidence, offering a bold $50,000. The figure is so astonishing that I find myself. As I focus on my breath, I can't help but wonder, what made you place that bid? I ask, her curiosity piqued. In a still and serene moment, she speaks with a gentle conviction. It matters, she states plainly. And for that reason, I thought you might want to join me on this journey. The proposal takes me by surprise. She's discussing the idea of a journey to Guatemala, where we could dedicate a week to collaborating in a children's in the heart of the hospital. A mix of excitement and fear swirls within me. It's a stark reminder of the paths we've taken so divergent from one another. As the day unfolds, I can't help but reflect on the journey that brought us here. As the night unfolds, she takes the wheel, guiding me through the quiet streets to my humble abode, nestled in a neighborhood that remains hidden from the eyes of travelers. I'm feeling a twinge of embarrassment as I reflect on the stark difference between the opulence we just experienced and the humble abode I call home, yet she remains unfazed. It felt like a moment suspended in time, the world outside fading away. "Thank you for tonight," I whispered as we lingered in her car, parked just outside my building. It was nothing short of incredible, but also overwhelming. "I know it's a lot," she whispers gently. This in the realm I navigate, kindness isn't always bestowed upon those who are true to themselves, yet you carry it all with remarkable poise. I find myself feeling, with elegance, I sense that I am merely playing a role, embodying a persona that doesn't truly belong to me. You are not. There's no need for masks or facades. You stand as your true self, and that authenticity is what sets you apart in the most remarkable way. Their exchanges unfold in the weeks that follow, often during the late hours when the world outside is quiet, and she was toiling away in her office long after the sun had set. Our paths crossed at a diner that never sleeps. Nestled close to the hospital, a spot, in a place where the coffee leaves much to be desired, yet the secluded booth in the back corner provides a sense of intimacy. It is here that the exchanges shared become the most cherished moments in the tapestry of our days. There are moments when we can lay down our defenses and share the truths of our lives. She opens up about her childhood, weaving stories of her upbringing. In a world of opulence where every material desire was met, there lay a heart yearning for warmth. Surrounded by the finest luxuries, the absence of affection echoed louder than the clinking of silverware at lavish dinners. Enrolled in prestigious institutions, the halls were filled with knowledge, yet the soul craved the simple gift of connection often overlooked in the pursuit of success. In a world where she shone brightly in her studies, yet felt like an outsider in the social realm, the weight of expectations loomed large as she faced the daunting task of stepping into her father's shoes. In a world where the odds seemed stacked against her, she embarked on a journey to carve her own path. Navigating through challenges, she discovered that embracing her true self was a strength, not a weakness. It was a perilous revelation shared one evening as the coffee cooled in its cup, the warmth of the moment fading into the shadows of the night. In a world where vulnerabilities can be weaponized, particularly for women navigating the business landscape, I learned to fortify my defenses and crafted a persona that shielded me. In a realm where barriers stand tall, separating the worthy from the unworthy, I shine a light on both the virtuous and the flawed ones. I realize that now she confides her gaze locked onto mine. "Encountering you revealed to me what has been absent from my life. I open up about my own challenges. The weight of being the pioneer in my family to earn a college degree, the weight of solitude hangs heavy on my heart as I venture into the bustling streets of Los Angeles, chasing dreams while my mother remains behind, her presence a constant reminder of the love I've left behind. The unending concern over finances. The nagging doubt about my strength to meet the emotional challenges of nursing about impact in the world. I don't know what is. Your presence has been a beacon of hope for me, illuminating the path when I felt lost. It's in those moments of connection that I truly understand the power of our actions. Difference, I don't know what is. In the stillness of the night, our conversations unfold, peeling back the layers of our complexities. She's not just the formidable leader I came across in articles. She's also a woman who navigating the depths of solitude while facing the weight of unending observation. I am more than just a nurse in distress. I am a person with dreams and ambitions and a strength that even I didn't fully recognize. Yet the contrast between our worlds, with every encounter, it becomes increasingly clear. My colleagues begin to inquire. Once upon a time, there was a friend shrouded in mystery who appeared at the hospital with an unexpected surprise gourmet catering. My mother, upon catching sight of this unusual scene, called me, her voice laced with concern. We were captured in a moment stepping out of the charity gala, our laughter echoing in the night. "Mija, be careful," she cautions me during one of our weekly phone calls. "Those wealthy folks, they navigate a world governed by their own set of principles. Their actions can wound you often without a hint of intention." Her whispers resonate with my deepest anxieties. The inner voice warns me of the perilous path ahead. I'm succumbing to feelings for another. Her presence is a mystery that eludes my understanding, a figure who could vanish from my existence just as swiftly as she arrived. Yet even though a voice of reason whispers caution in my ear, I can't help but eagerly anticipate her calls. Tick of the clock, each moment stretching out like a thread of anticipation. The air is thick with unspoken words as the excitement mingles with a hint of nervousness, creating a dance of emotions that leaves us both breathless. Path filled with twists and turns where every encounter brings a rush of excitement and a hint of fear. Each step I take is a dance between exhilaration and doubt, keeping my heart racing and my mind spinning. Caught in a delicate balance between two realms, I find myself uncertain of where I will ultimately settle as I embark on the journey of this connection. Artemis and I journey together, our bond deepening with every conversation and cherished moment we share. She begins to visit the hospital with increasing regularity, occasionally arriving with coffee for the staff, while at other times, just the clock ticks slowly. As I wrap up my shift, eager for the moment we can finally converse. The other nurses have grown silent, no longer robing into her identity yet. There's a spark of intrigue in their gaze each time she graces the cardiac wing one evening. She never fails to astonish me by proposing we forgo our regular diner and head to her apartment instead. The invitation carries a weight as if she's inviting me into a hidden realm that remains unseen by many. Her building stands as a shining monument just as I had imagined. In the heart of the city's most luxurious district, she is welcomed by a doorman who knows her name, and the elevators whisk her away to her elegant abode. That demand key cards for entry to the higher levels. Her penthouse apartment is breathtaking, yet carries an air of chill. All contemporary. Imagine a space adorned with exquisite furnishings and towering windows that stretch from floor to ceiling, revealing stunning vistas of the city skyline. Everything is flawlessly curated, resembling a scene straight out of a glossy publication rather than the lived-in warmth of a real home. The only in the cozy corners of her home family photos find their place nestled quietly on a bookshelf, while a curated collection of books whispers stories of her journey. With a heart full of admiration for the past and the written word, I find myself drawn to the windows. "It's beautiful," I whisper, gazing down at the sprawling city beneath me, us like a carpet of lights. "It's lonely," she replies, her voice tinged with a vulnerability that draws my gaze towards her. I acquired it with the hope that it would embody triumph, yet I've always felt like a stranger in its presence. Once upon a time, in a place not so far away, there existed a moment that beckoned with the promise of adventure. It was here in this very spot that tales began to unfold, weaving together the threads of destiny and dreams. We decide to indulge in some takeout from a nearby restaurant that brings delicious food right to her doorstep, settling in for a cozy evening, nestled on her grand couch, savoring the flavors of Thai food from takeout containers. There's an oddity to the casualness of it. It's a beautifully refined setting, yet there's a surprising warmth that makes it feel so personal. Once upon a time, she shared her thoughts with me. In the vibrant halls of her college, she navigated the world of business studies, a path chosen not by passion, but by the weight of expectation. Yet beneath the surface of obligation, a flicker of curiosity stirred within her, hinting at dreams yet to be discovered, had a hidden desire to inspire others through teaching. Once upon a time, in the bustling world of nursing school, there were countless tales of dedication and perseverance. Students spent long hours immersed in their books, navigating the complexities of medicine, while also embarking on clinical rotations that tested their skills and resolve. Each day brought new challenges and experiences, weaving a rich tapestry of learning and growth. That almost shattered my spirit. What draws one to the path of nursing? She inquires, tucking her legs beneath her as she sinks further into the sofa. When I was 15, a shadow fell over my world as my grandmother fell ill. I shall unfold the tale, For the past 6 months, her journey took her through the sterile halls of hospitals, where I witnessed the profound impact of the nurses who cared for her. In a world where warmth and respect intertwine, a journey unfolds, embracing the essence of solace and honor. In a bustling hospital, there was a nurse named Rosa, who would often find a quiet moment to sit with my grandmother, always there in spirit, even when we couldn't be by her side. As she gently brushed her hair, the soft sounds of Spanish words filled the air, weaving stories that danced around them. It was never meant to be a part of her. She took on the task driven by her deep sense of compassion. "That is the essence of your being," Artemis whispers gently. "That's why you wrapped me in your jacket. It's just who you are." The dialogue flows seamlessly, weaving through the night as the stars twinkle above, casting a magical glow on their words. Under the cover of darkness, I open up about secrets long kept, revealing my anxieties about not measuring up in my career. A heavy heart lingered as the decision to depart weighed on the mind, casting shadows of remorse over the journey ahead. My mother stands strong while I hold on to the hope of returning to school one day to pursue my dream of becoming a nurse practitioner. She hears me out, her presence a safe haven, as she poses questions that reveal her genuine understanding. As I take my final steps away, in the stillness of the night as the clock strikes 2, she firmly requests her driver to escort me back to my place. The vehicle envelops you in warmth and coziness. As I settle into the plush leather seats, a wave of surrealism washes over me, as if I've stepped into a world that isn't truly mine. The stark differences that lay before her. It has never been clearer to me, yet it seems to carry a lighter weight than it once did. As time flows, the dynamics of our bond evolve. In the aftermath of that fateful night, the exchanges delve deeper into the heart of the matter. The moments of connection have grown more frequent and hold deeper significance. Once upon a time, she began her journey, reaching out to me in those quiet moments just to bask in the sound of my voice. As I wander through my thoughts, I discover my gaze drifting. I eagerly anticipate her calls above all else in my daily routine. As she embarks on her business journeys, she shares snapshots from in various cities. She sends me messages filled with longing, expressing how much she wishes I could be there with her, even 3 weeks later. In the blink of an eye, everything transforms. As the sun begins to rise, I find myself immersed in the rhythm of the morning shift when the emergency department reaches out to our floor. A cardiac patient is on the way, ready to share their journey with us. A woman in her 60s who had in the midst of a crucial board meeting, a sudden and overwhelming event unfolded, leaving everyone in shock. The name on the chart sends a chill down my spine. Once upon a time, there was a name that whispered through the winds of fate: Eleanor Vale. Once upon a time, there was a girl who... She arrives, her body limp and unresponsive, tethered to a web of monitors that beep and flicker, casting an eerie glow on her delicate form. In this moment, I noticed the striking similarities to the goddess of the hunt in her very features, and the contours of her hands told a story of grace and strength. Yet while Artemis exudes an aura of confidence and warmth, there exists a certain harshness about. As I gazed at her mother's features, even in the stillness of sleep, I found myself stepping into the role of her primary nurse. I diligently checked her vitals and carefully administered her medications, ensuring she was well taken care of, in line with the guidance provided by the physician. As the dawn of the second day breaks, she slowly opens her eyes, emerging from the depths of her slumber. In that moment, clarity washes over me, revealing the intricate web of emotions that defines Artemis's connection with her. Mrs. Vale has a way of commanding attention and respect. She found herself constantly voicing her discontent, grumbling about everything from the chill in her room to the less than stellar meals served in the hospital. She cares for the staff, resembling servants, addressed us with a tone of superiority that tightened my jaw in frustration. "You're new," she says as I arrive. She stepped in to examine her 4 lines. "What's the duration of your journey in this role?" 3 years, dear Mrs. With a composed demeanor, I respond, directing my attention to my work, instead of meeting her eyes. 3 years, she scoffs, her voice laced with disbelief. "Just starting out. It seems this is all we can hope for." From a location reminiscent of this, with a silent resolve, I hold back my words and press on with my tasks. I have faced. There have been encounters with challenging individuals, those who, gripped by fear, direct their anxieties towards the caregivers around them. Yet there exists a certain something, There was something unsettling about Mrs. Vale's demeanor, a harshness that appeared to stem from a place far beyond mere fear. Yet as the tale unfolds on the third day, she finds herself awake and curious, eager to learn about her condition and the path ahead for her treatment. I share all the details with great attention, just as I would for any individual in need. Just as I begin to share my thoughts, she cuts in unexpectedly. I prefer to navigate my own path when it comes to health matters. From a person like you, she retorts with a cutting edge. Please find me a qualified individual. I am qualified, Mrs. Vale, I respond with a steady voice, my confidence unwavering. As a dedicated caregiver, I navigate the world of healthcare with compassion and expertise. An extraordinary journey into the world of heart health. Her gaze sweeps over me, filled with unmistakable contempt. In a quaint neighborhood, there lived a dedicated nurse. I guess that's the way it should be. There lies a glimmer of hope for your people. There was a subtle hint of tension in the air, a whisper of something deeper lurking beneath the surface. Her words linger in the air, and warmth floods my face. Once upon a time, I stumbled upon. There was a time when bias lingered in the shadows, but now it stands boldly in the light. As I wrap up my inspection of her monitors, I get ready to step out into the world beyond. The door closed softly behind her, but I could sense her lingering presence, as if the story between us was far from over. I know who you are, she declares unexpectedly, and there's a certain quality in her voice that stops me in my tracks. It seems you've been keeping a close eye on my daughter. As the moment unfolds, a flutter ignites within me. As the adrenaline surged through my veins, I focused on maintaining a calm facade, even as the excitement of the race enveloped me. Confusion clouded my mind as I faced Mrs. Vale, her words swirling around me like a riddle waiting to be solved. I don't understand. I finally admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Artemis believes she's flying under the radar, but I have my own network that keeps me in the loop about her every move. Once upon a time, an extravagant charity gala unfolded, where sumptuous dinners were served and guests mingled, all while supporting a noble cause at the local hospital. With a piercing gaze, she examines every detail of my expression. Did you truly believe that someone like her would ever have a genuine interest in someone as you do? The sharpness in her voice pierces through me more than I ever anticipated. Dear Mrs. Vale, it might be time for you to take a break and recharge. Your entertainment, She continues, brushing aside my effort to bring the conversation to a close, a small endeavor to uplift her spirits and bring a smile to her face. Wealthy young ladies such as my daughter often find joy in playful adventures. With the assistance, it fills their hearts with a sense of generosity and a touch of the worldly. I've had my fill, I declare with conviction, yet this is only the beginning of her journey. Before long, her interest will fade away. A person who shares your roots, given your modest background and uncertain future, what could you possibly bring to someone as extraordinary as Artemis? In the midst of her bustling life, she juggles countless duties, steering her company with unwavering determination, all while safeguarding her hard-earned reputation. Do you truly believe she would give up everything for someone who works in a hospital? Every word is crafted to wound, and they're striking their goal. Every insecurity that crept into my heart regarding my bond with Artemis. Every whisper of doubt about the chasm between our worlds. A cruel woman's voice echoes, relishing in the depths of my suffering. She's taking advantage of you, Mrs. Vale, it goes on, with unwavering determination. Perhaps she remains unaware, yet this is precisely what it is. You are a breath of fresh air, a source of joy that allows her to shine by extending a hand to those in need. Yet, as the moment approaches as she stands at the crossroads of her life, contemplating the weight of her choices, do you truly believe she would pick you over the empire she has painstakingly constructed? I have found my salvation from the echo of footsteps resonating in the hallway. Artemis steps into the room, her expression, the tension is felt right away. Within the confines of the chamber, she glances back and forth between her mother. As I stood there, I could feel the warmth in my cheeks and the tension in my stance, a silent story unfolding within me. What's happening in here? She inquired, entering the room with curiosity. I was merely becoming familiar with your dear companion. Mrs. Vale remarks, her tone dripping with insincerity. We found ourselves deep in conversation about her. With a sharp gaze, Artemis's eyes narrow, and I can sense her mind racing as she begins to connect the dots. Dearest mother, what words escaped your lips when you spoke to her? All that was spoken held its truth. I merely highlighted the truth of your circumstances. Artemis, the weight of duty rests upon your shoulders. It's crucial to stay focused and not let unsuitable connections pull you away from your path. Unacceptable, Artemis speaks in a hushed tone, a chilling calmness that belies the storm brewing within her. I've never witnessed such fury etched across her face. What is it that you seek? What is it that you find unsuitable about Esperanza? Oh, come on now. Mrs. Vale gracefully waved her hand, a gentle gesture that seemed to carry a world of meaning. With a wave of indifference. Let's not kid ourselves. This isn't anything to take seriously. In the bustling halls of a public hospital, she dedicates her days to caring for those in need, embodying the spirit of compassion and resilience. In the grand halls of a towering empire, you stand at the helm, guiding the ship of a vast corporation through the ever-changing seas of commerce. This small act of kindness you've embraced, it may give you a fleeting sense of confidence, yet the truth lies beyond its surface. I observe Artemis's. The calmness fell apart. With her hands balled into tight fists at her sides, every part of me thrums with a barely restrained rage. Charity case, she repeats, her voice growing louder with each word. Have you ever pondered, is that really what this is all about? What other possibilities could there be? Mrs. Vale responds with a sly smile. Once upon a time, there was a character who embodied a unique essence, captivating all who crossed their path. Not truly envisioning a life with someone who stands so far below your social standing, in the shadows of my societal rank. Artemis' voice has grown so loud that I can't help but feel anxious about the possibility of other patients overhearing. In a moment of despair, she emerged like a beacon of hope, transforming my darkest days into a journey of light and renewal. She wrapped me in her embrace. In a moment of desperation, as I lay in the hospital lobby, she wrapped me in her own jacket, a stranger unaware of my plight. She toils through the long hours, embracing the challenge of double shifts. She strives to uplift her family and conquer her student loans, driven by a deep-seated passion for making a difference in the lives of others. Her integrity shines brighter than the rest, and kindness in her little finger than you've demonstrated throughout your whole existence, madam. Vale's eyes widen in surprise at her daughter's sudden outburst, yet she gathers herself swiftly. Do not let your innocence cloud your judgment, Artemis. She has a way of drawing others in. When their eyes meet yours, all they can envision are the glimmering treasures that could be yours. She's likely weaving her schemes, plotting her next move. Of your emotions. Silence, Artemis commands, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there existed a unique individual. This person embarked on a journey navigating through the twists and turns of life, discovering new adventures and forging connections along the way. Each moment was a chapter filled with excitement and wonder as they sought to uncover the mysteries that lay ahead. You seem to be in the dark about her just as you are about me. It seems you're on a path that might lead you astray, that might shatter all your dreams and efforts. In the grand tapestry of time, the sole misstep I took was allowing a mere 3 years to stretch between us, of severing all ties and letting you fade away from my world. Artemis glides toward the bed, her voice lowering to a chilling whisper. Esperanza shines with a sincerity that is truly unmatched. In her eyes, I am more than just a figure. I am a being with thoughts and feelings, existing not merely as a financial resource or a chance for profit. Her presence inspires me to strive for greatness. She has always sought one thing from me, and that is the truth. You're acting quite absurd, Mrs. Vale lets out a derisive laugh. This fleeting passion will fade away. This is more than just a fleeting fancy, Artemis declares with conviction, and then she utters the words that transform it all. My heart is captivated by her essence. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there was a singular being embarking on a journey of self-discovery. This individual, with dreams as vast as the sky, sought to uncover the mysteries of existence and the stories waiting to be told. Each step taken was a chapter written, each experience a lesson learned, weaving together the fabric of their unique tale. The adventure was just beginning, and the pages were ready to be filled with wonder and excitement. Once upon a time, there was a deep affection for Esperanza that filled the heart with warmth and joy. Should you fail to honor the woman I cherish, Then our conversation ends here. The room descends into silence, utter stillness enveloped the surroundings. Valet gazes at her daughter, her expression frozen in disbelief, and I sense the ground beneath me has vanished into thin air. Once upon a time, in a world filled with warmth and connection, there blossomed a feeling so profound that it could light up the darkest of nights. It was a bond that transcended time and space, weaving hearts together in a tapestry of shared moments and whispered dreams. In this enchanting realm, every glance held a promise, and every touch ignited a spark, creating a symphony of emotions that danced through the air like a gentle breeze. This was the essence of a journey that many sought, a tale as old as time itself, where the heart found its true home. She declared her love not in a hushed whisper, shared in a tranquil moment, but as a heartfelt declaration to her mother, standing strong in defense of our love, against the harshest of judgments. An impending threat looms. "Surely you can't be serious." Mrs. Vale murmurs, her voice barely above a whisper. "I have never intended nothing more in my life." Artemis replies, her gaze locking onto mine with a fierce intensity that leaves me utterly breathless. My heart races as I declare my feelings unbothered by the world around me. In that moment, I am rooted to the spot, engulfed by the weight of this revelation. In a moment that felt like a scene from a captivating tale, this strong and self-assured woman stood up for me, facing her own mother with unwavering courage. With her heart on her sleeve, she boldly proclaimed her love for me, creating an unforgettable atmosphere filled with emotion. A figure who unmistakably stands in opposition to all that I embody. The weight of her words drapes around me It enveloped me, a cocoon of warmth and safety. Yet beneath its comforting embrace lay an unsettling chill that sent shivers down my spine. Not belonging to Mrs. Vale, her complexion has turned ashen, and I can see the realization dawning upon her that this is not just a fleeting moment or an act of defiance. She, my daughter, stands firm in her decision, prioritizing our bond above all else, even the expectations of her family. As the truth dawns upon her, a sense of airlessness envelops her being, entirely. In an instant, her fierce spirit seemed to vanish into thin air. Artemis extends her hand towards me, and I willingly grasp it, sensing the gentle embrace of her fingers weaving through my own. "I wish you hadn't had to listen to that," she murmurs gently. Apologies escaped her lips, a soft whisper in the air. "The things that were meant for you." "It's all right," I found myself saying, even as my voice echoed oddly in my own ears. "Indeed it isn't. Very well." There are moments in life when words can cut deeper than any blade, and the way she addressed you was one of those times. It's a reminder that respect should always be at the forefront of our interactions. She gazes into the past. Her mother looked at her, a shadow of disappointment crossing her face, rather than the fire of anger. "I hope that coming so close to the edge has transformed you in some way, perhaps even reshaped your perspective. You come to understand what truly matters. Yet I can't help but notice that you remain the same person who pushed me away 3 years back. Once upon a time, there was a woman known as Mrs. Vale, whose presence was both mysterious and enchanting. She moved through the world with an air of elegance, captivating those who crossed her path. Her story was woven with threads of intrigue and wonder, leaving a lasting impression on all who encountered her. She parts her lips, a silent moment hanging in the air, yet no sound escapes her. For the very first time in all the moments I've spent looking after her, she seems truly moved by an unseen force, as if her daughter's words have truly pierced through her defenses. Artemis pivots back. Her gaze holds a depth of feeling that sweeps over me like a tidal wave, leaving me breathless. "May we have a moment to speak in confidence?" I give a slight nod, but I don't, believing in the strength of my voice to resonate just right. As we step out of Mrs. Vale's room, her fingers entwined with mine. A sense of understanding washes over me, and I realize that a transformation has swept through the bond we share. Her heart is entwined with mine. With a voice that echoed in the silence, she stood her ground, unwavering in her conviction. In a moment of defiance against her mother's harshness, she made the bold choice to stand by me, prioritizing her own heart over the expectations of her family. The thought of that choice sends a shiver down my spine, a mix of fear and excitement swirling within me. As we stroll down the corridor leading to the family, in the quiet of the consultation room, a heavy realization settles in. We have ventured into territory that cannot be undone. Whatever unfolds from here, we are no longer. Once upon a time, there were two souls embarking on a journey of discovery, unraveling the layers of each other's hearts and minds. In a world where two hearts intertwine, everything transforms into something extraordinary. Once upon a time, in a world filled with emotions, there existed a powerful feeling that connected hearts and souls. It was a force that could light up the darkest days and bring warmth to the coldest nights. This enchanting sentiment danced through the air, whispering sweet promises and binding people together in a tapestry of shared moments and cherished memories. It stretches between us, a delicate pathway that I hesitate to traverse. As we stepped out of Mrs. Vale's room, Artemis and I, in a secluded nook of the family consultation area, the air hangs heavy with an unspoken tension as words stumble and falter, creating an atmosphere thick with unease. She holds on. She offered her apologies for her mother's actions, and I kept reassuring her that it was all right. Yet deep down, we both understood that something essential had shifted, transformed. She whispered her affection, a tender confession hanging in the air, while I remained silent, the weight of unvoiced feelings thickening the atmosphere around us, growing weightier with every fleeting second. I must return to my patients now. At last she spoke, finding solace in her tasks to shield herself from the weight of her stare. With a gentle nod, she responds, yet I can sense that her gaze held a shadow of unmet expectations. May I reach out to you at a later time? I nod and quietly drift into the shadows yet. My hands tremble as I move through the familiar paths, each step filled with anticipation. In the depths of her heart, affection blooms, a tender whisper of devotion that dances between us. The wisdom resides. It settled in my chest, heavy and unyielding. It was a mix of awe and fear, a dance between beauty and dread. Once upon a time, there was a soul who had yet to experience the magic of love. Once upon a time, there was a soul who had never encountered another like them. Gaze upon me as she does, as if I am a treasure unique and invaluable. However, Mrs. The harsh whispers linger in my thoughts, casting shadows of uncertainty over the present. The following days unfold in a whirlwind of clumsy exchanges and uncomfortable dialogues. It feels as though Artemis is patiently anticipating my arrival. There's a weight in the air, a silence that speaks volumes about what transpired between us. Yet here I am searching for the right words, but they elude me, dancing just out of reach. Each time I attempt to share my thoughts with her. As I sit in silence, Mrs. Vale's voice slithers into my thoughts, echoing the countless reasons we are worlds apart. In that moment, the spotlight begins to shine. Once upon a time, a whispering blog unveiled a hazy snapshot of our departure from the charity gala, igniting a whirlwind of speculation. In a captivating twist, the headline proclaims, "Tech mogul Artemis shrouds a mysterious woman in intrigue," sparking speculation about her identity and the nature of their connection. In just a matter of hours, whispers of the tale begin to circulate among various channels, each one probing further into the depths of my past. As the journey unfolded, throughout the week, a crowd of photographers gathers outside my apartment building, while reporters relentlessly call the hospital, inquiring about my well-being. The spotlight shines brightly, enveloping everything in its glow, and intrusive in ways I never envisioned. As I move through the shadows, a sense of unease creeps in, prompting me to glance back, searching for unseen eyes lurking behind me. Always, there's a lingering feeling, a shadow that dances at the edge of my awareness, as if unseen eyes are tracing my every move. My colleagues began to treat me. In various ways, some approached with a spark of curiosity, igniting their spirits, while others carried the weight of resentment, their hearts heavy with unspoken feelings. Among the other caregivers, as the words hung in the air, a wave of emotion washed over me. I felt the sting of tears welling up, and I knew I had to find a moment of solitude. I slipped away, seeking refuge in the quiet of a supply closet, where I could let the tears flow freely. Artemis steps in like a guardian, employing security to fend off the relentless swarm of photographers lurking near the hospital. Taking a stand against those who dare to reveal my private details, I am prepared to pursue legal measures against the outlets that choose to publish my personal information. Yet her attempts appear to ignite further whispers about the depth of our connection. Apologies escape her lips as we find ourselves in one of those moments. Whispers in the dark, voices connecting across the miles, secrets shared under the moonlight. It was something I should have seen coming. I ought to have taken additional measures to safeguard your personal space. It's not your fault, I whispered gently to her, hoping to ease the weight she carries. Yet as I found myself speak the truth, for it lingers in my mind that this is the fate that befalls those who entwine their lives with someone from her realm. There's no such thing as keeping things under wraps when you're in a relationship with one of the most influential figures in the nation. The moment of truth arrives at 3. Weeks later, on a Tuesday morning, I stepped into work, only to be greeted by the bustling sounds of construction crews and the flashing lights of news vans surrounding the place. The entrance to the hospital stood before them, a gateway to hope and healing. A banner stretches ominously across the front of the building, sending a chill down my spine. The moment had finally arrived, the doors swung open, and excitement filled the air as the crowd gathered for the grand unveiling. Anticipation buzzed like electricity, and smiles lit up faces as everyone stepped inside to witness the magic that awaited them. The pediatric wing of Esperanza Morales. I find myself on the sidewalk gazing intently at the A sign bearing my name appears, and in that moment it feels as if the very ground beneath me has vanished into thin air. As I stand here, I can hear the soft footsteps of my colleagues moving about each step, a reminder of the bustling energy that surrounds us. In the moments that followed, I found myself surrounded by a mix of reactions. Some voices raised in praise, while others cast glances that danced between admiration and jealousy, even veering into outright disdain, unwelcoming. I navigate through the bustling crowd and spot the hospital administrator in the lobby. His face lit up with a radiant smile, as if he's... In a twist of fate, the day arrived when fortune smiled brightly, and the unexpected happened: victory in the lottery. Esperanza, at last you have arrived. Ms. Vale had a desire to prepare to be amazed by the dedication ceremony that awaits you. In a grand gesture of appreciation, the entire pediatric wing is being transformed, all dedicated to you. It is an unprecedented gift that would forever change the course of the hospital's journey. Once upon a time, a weary soul found themselves engulfed in a wave of discomfort, their body whispering tales of unease. In a realm where laughter mingles with the gentle hum of hope, there exists a special place dedicated to the tiniest warriors. Here, the air is filled with the soft whispers of care, and every corner holds a story waiting to be told. It is a sanctuary where dreams of health and happiness are nurtured, and where each day has long awaited a transformation with equipment that feels like a relic of the past, and rooms that struggle to keep up with today's expectations. It's truly a delight to see the transformation bringing joy and new opportunities for the children who will thrive in this refreshed space. Yet possessing my name, being linked to it, and having it showcased as a magnificent tribute in my name fills me with a sense of deceit. Artemis emerges before me, glimmering with joy and a sense of accomplishment. She dons a navy suit that captivates. With a glimmer in her gaze, she feels the weight of the world as cameras capture her every step. With a gentle whisper, she reveals the unexpected, taking my palm. In the depths of my heart, a yearning stirred a desire to embark on a journey that would leave a lasting impact, to create a ripple of change in the world around me. We need to have a conversation, I say. With determination etched on her face, she tugged her away from the throng of people. In the quiet corners of our minds, we discover the conference room lay silent and vacant, and I gently shut the door, sealing us in our own little world. In the midst of a bustling world, the echoes of the crowd outside seemed to fade into a soft whisper, yet camera flashes dance like fireflies, their light piercing through the frosted glass windows, creating a magical spectacle. You didn't enjoy it, she remarks, and there exists a true essence uncertainty echoed in her tone. I had hoped to see a smile on your face. The young ones, the wing underwent a transformation and now boasts cutting-edge equipment. This will lead to improved care for children. You put my name on it, I say, fighting to maintain my composure. You transformed me you took the lead on the charity project, making it the focal point without even consulting me. She insists this isn't a charity project. It stands as a testament to your dedication, the impact you have on the lives of others. I seek no offerings. I prefer to remain in the shadows, away from the spotlight of grand structures bearing my name. I simply wish to carry out my responsibilities without the weight of being a symbol for something greater. Your generosity knows no bounds. Her expression shifts, and I can sense the dawning realization of my distress washing over her. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there was a singular being embarking on a journey of self-discovery and adventure. I hoped it would bring a smile to your face, filled with a sense of accomplishment. A bitter laugh escapes my lips. In a moment that felt like the ground had vanished beneath me, I found myself engulfed in a wave of embarrassment. Can you imagine how this appears to my colleagues? They believe I'm sharing a bed with you. For the sake of wealth, you've gone so far as to etch my name onto a structure. What am I meant to feel about that? Once upon a time, there was a moment that slipped away, a fleeting thought that lingered in the shadows, never to be fully realized. She reflects on it softly, her voice barely above a whisper. And there it is, the moment I lose control. Everything, in the depths of turmoil. Emotions surged like a tempest, each wave crashing against the shores of patience as shadows of the past loomed large, igniting a fire of anxiety and discontent. Your actions seemed to unfold without a thought of their impact on me. Once upon a time, there was a person who embarked on a journey filled with adventures and discoveries. This individual faced challenges and triumphs, weaving a tale that would be remembered for ages. Each step taken was a new chapter, filled with lessons and experiences that shaped their path. The story of this remarkable journey continues to inspire those who hear it. Embrace your freedom and let your desires guide you, for you possess the wealth and influence to shape your own destiny. In the heart of the city, a team of passionate individuals embarked on a journey to transform the very essence of healing spaces. They poured their hearts into renovating hospital wings, each brushstroke and nail driven with purpose. With every corner reimagined, they dedicated themselves to creating environments that would nurture hope and recovery, breathing new life into the walls that held countless stories of resilience, presenting me as if I'm a project in need of saving, as though your assistance is a noble endeavor. This isn't what you think, she says, her voice ascending. My heart whispers your name in every moment, a melody of affection that dances through my thoughts. All my actions are, for you hold a special place in my heart. I refuse to be a mere task on your list. The words flow forth, my voice rang out more forcefully than I had planned, and I caught a glimpse of her reaction, a subtle flinch that spoke volumes. I refuse to be the damsel in distress you saved and lifted up. I have no desire your wealth or your grand displays, or your efforts to improve my existence. I longed for you to recognize me as your counterpart. Once upon a time, in a world full of possibilities, there existed a singular being embarking on a journey of self-discovery and adventure. She firmly asserts that she views you as her equal. Yet as the words leave her lips, the uncertainty flickers in her gaze. Indeed, that's not the case. In the depths of your gaze, I exist. As a soul in need of rescue, a life that could flourish with your gifts and support. One cannot simply toss cash at our A-bond as formed, and the hope is that it will flourish. I refuse to waste my hard-earned cash on frivolous things. Once upon a time, there was a person who found themselves on a journey of self-discovery. I'm on a journey to express the depth of my feelings for you. By treating me as if I were a charity case, by placing my name on a building, I always dreamed of transforming my space, but the funds just weren't there. By ensuring that everyone is aware of the total amount you've invested in me. Our eyes fixate on. They faced one another in the conference room, hearts racing, emotions raw. Hurt and anger hung thick in the air as words flew sharp and unforgiving, leaving marks that couldn't be erased. Returning. The hurt in her gaze is unmistakable, yet my fury overshadows any desire to temper my words. Perhaps it was your mother, indeed, I declare. As soon as the words escape my lips, a sinking feeling washes over me, and I realize I've crossed a line. Perhaps this is simply you engaging in a little fun with someone from a different walk of life. Her face turns as pale as a ghost, and I catch a glimpse of something shatter within her gaze. Surely you can't be serious. I'm uncertain what I mean anymore, I say, weary from the struggle and the whirlwind of feelings and the relentless weight of existing in her realm. Deep down, a certainty lingers within me, whispering that this path is not meant for me. I refuse to be a mere endeavor or a cause for your goodwill, whatever the situation may be. Esperanza. A name that whispers through the winds of time, carries with it tales of adventure and mystery. In the heart of a forgotten land where shadows dance and secrets linger, the story unfolds, beckoning those brave enough to listen. Each chapter reveals a new twist, a new character, and a new challenge. As the journey of Esperanza captivates the imagination and ignites the spirit of exploration. Please, she whispers, her hand outstretched towards me, yet I take a step back. I need some room to breathe, I say to her. Once upon a time, there was a solitary figure who embarked on a journey filled with dreams and aspirations. I need some space to reflect on my desires without you attempting to solve everything with financial solutions. What is the extent of the area? She inquires. Her voice is so delicate, it tugs at the strings of my heart. I'm uncertain. Only the vastness of the cosmos. Once upon a time, there was a girl who... She nods slowly, and I watch as she begins to withdraw, hiding behind the barriers she has carefully constructed around her heart. The fragile woman who shared the warmth of her mother's affection is fading away, giving way to the poised CEO who seems to have lost touch with her heart. She never allowed anyone to witness her pain. If that's what you desire, she replies with a sense of formality, it is what I desire. She departs in silence, and I collapse into one of the conference room chairs, overwhelmed by the sense that I've just made the most significant misstep of my journey. Yet there's a sense of relief washing over me, as if I can finally take a deep breath, free from the weight of struggling to find my place in a realm that feels foreign to me. As the days stretch ahead, I find myself bracing for what feels like an eternity. Artemis remains silent, neither calling nor texting, or make an appearance at the hospital. Her unwavering respect for my need for distance only deepens the ache within me. In the midst of my journey, in every corner I search for her, clinging to the hope that she might overlook my desires and choose to battle for what we once had, yet she remains distant. The Esperanza. The grand opening of the Morales pediatric wing was a spectacle to behold, filled with excitement and celebration. Yet she chose to remain absent from the festivities. Whispers from fellow staff members reach my ears. She chose to send a representative in her place. With determination, I immerse myself in my tasks, taking on additional shifts and offering my time to help others, for the most challenging of situations. Anything to distract me from the emptiness that lingers where she once filled my days. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there existed a tale waiting to unfold. It was a story that belonged to someone special, a journey that would capture hearts and inspire dreams. This is the beginning of that adventure. As the days passed, her presence faded from the conversations of my colleagues, yet I could still feel the unspoken questions lingering in the air, reflected in their curious gazes. It appears that some individuals, it feels like a weight has been lifted as the fleeting moments of fortune and fame fade into the past. People gaze at me with a sense of sorrow, and my mother reaches out more often. Often a feeling lingers in the air, an unspoken tension, yet the urge to pry for answers remains unfulfilled. Mija, you sound so antal, she says softly during one of their quiet moments. In the tapestry of our exchanges. Is all well in your world? All is well, dear mother. I deceive. After a long day at the grind, exhaustion settled in like a heavy blanket wrapping around me as I trudged home. It seems like you're pouring all your energy into work. It's important to look after yourself. Of yourself. I long to share with her the tale of Artemis, of the exhilarating rush of love, intertwined with fear and the instinct to retreat from the very best that life has to offer. The most incredible event in my life. Yet I find myself at a loss for words, unsure of how to convey my thoughts to Mrs. Vale without appearing utterly mad. As time drifts by, I find myself still standing by her side, as her main caregiver, no matter the challenges we faced. Once upon a time, there was a girl who... There are moments when I catch her gaze, a silent observation that feels almost like a secret. It's as if she's trying to understand something deeper, lingering in the shadows of my thoughts. Unravel the mystery of what went awry. She has softened a bit, yet remains as challenging and exacting as ever. On a Thursday night, as the third week without Artemis unfolds, the world around me shifts dramatically. As the clock ticks into the late hours, I find myself immersed in my duties when Mrs. Vale's presence graces the scene. The monitors began to flicker and dance wildly, as if possessed by an unseen force. Her heart races wildly, then plummets to a perilous low, and in mere moments, she finds herself engulfed in a whirlwind of emotions. The sudden halt of a heart's rhythm. I pressed the emergency button, adrenaline surging through me as I began the rhythmic compressions, my hands moving with urgency against her chest, while in a flurry of urgency, the other staff members burst into the room, bringing the crash cart with them. "Let's go," I whisper to myself, pushing on with the compressions. "Stay with me, please. You can't leave now." As the code team bursts into action, her heart races with surprise, and medications are swiftly administered while I lend my support, for what felt like an eternity of dread. It feels like we're losing our way, and I fear we might lose her for good. Then, in an unexpected twist, the heart begins to thump once more. Fragile yet resilient as the urgent turmoil subsides, she finds herself getting ready for a new journey ahead. The intensive care unit. With an unexpected grip, Mrs. Vale takes hold of my hand. Her gaze is eyes drifting away, yet her gaze remains locked on mine. "She loves you," she breathes softly, her whispers barely heard. "From the moment you draped that jacket over her shoulders, her heart has been yours. Don't allow my resentment to tarnish the magic of this moment. Only real thing she's ever had." Her grip slackens and she slips back into darkness, but her words resonate within me like a sudden impact that resonates through the body. It was the one true treasure she had ever possessed. In the quiet moments, I ponder the solitude of Artemis. In a small apartment, she shared tales of her childhood, revealing the neglect that had shaped her. With a heavy heart, she confessed how she had constructed walls around herself, a fortress built from the remnants of her past. There are moments when my mind drifts to. Her gaze pierced through the dim light of the conference room, a silent storm of emotions swirling within her as if I were the one shattering her world. The veil of the mist is passed on to the quiet of the ICU. I find myself alone, trembling with a mix of adrenaline and newfound understanding, surrounded by the stillness of the empty room. In my quest to shield my heart from pain, I failed to see the wounds I was inflicting on her. It's a realization that weighs heavily on me now, a bittersweet truth that I can no longer ignore. Once upon a time, there was a solitary figure who embarked on a journey filled with dreams and aspirations. In a moment of hesitation, I distanced myself from the one who held my heart. Fear gripped me, a fear of revealing my true self, of being exposed and seen as unworthy. Once upon a time, there was a person who found themselves in a world full of possibilities. As I linger in the same spot, the sound of familiar footsteps echoes through the hallway. As I pivot in the direction of the noise, there stands Artemis before me. She hurried into the room, her hair a wild mess and her flawless makeup now a blur of colors. She donned a pair of jeans, and she wore a sweater that seemed unfamiliar, as if she had hastily grabbed the nearest thing when the call about her came in. Once upon a time, there was a mother who filled her home with warmth and love. Her gentle touch and kind words created a haven for her children, where laughter echoed and dreams blossomed. Each day she wove stories of courage and hope, guiding her little ones through the adventures of life. In her embrace they found comfort and strength, knowing that no matter the challenges they faced, their mother would always be their greatest supporter and friend. She halts in her tracks upon catching sight of me, and for a moment we simply gaze at one another across a distance that seems to stretch endlessly. Massive yet trivial, her eyes carry a weight of weariness and sorrow, yet there's an undeniable beauty that captivates me. In that moment, I understand just how deeply I've longed for her presence. In the depths of my heart, I realize the immense love I hold for her. I reflect on the foolishness of allowing pride and fear to create a chasm between us. "Is she okay?" she inquires her. Her voice is raspy as if she has been weeping. She is holding steady. I share my thoughts with her. Once upon a time, it was a narrow escape, but she will emerge unscathed. She gives a slight nod and begins to move past me toward the ICU, but I reach out and gently grasp her arm. "Lim." She halts in her tracks yet remains facing away, and I can sense the tightness coiling in her shoulders. "Artemis," I call out, and her name echoes in the air. It lingers in my mind, a distant echo, after 3 long weeks of silence. It's time for a conversation. Once upon a time, there was a girl who... She pivots, gradually revealing the weariness that lingers in the contours of her features. Her eyes glisten with a hint of crimson around the edges. In that moment, I felt a familiar fragility echoing the night I first discovered her in the lobby. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there was a moment that sparked a journey unlike any other. In that moment, silence envelops us, a heavy shroud woven from 3 weeks of unspoken words, creating an invisible wall that separates our hearts. "I'm uncertain if I can do this right now," she whispers softly. "I came so close to losing her tonight, and I find myself lost in thoughts of everything left unspoken between us. In the moments we let our tempers flare, We lost precious time that could have been spent in harmony. Once upon a time, there was a moment that captured attention. It's time for a conversation. I leaned in closer and whispered. Before she slipped away, your mother shared something with me. She warned me not to allow her bitterness to destroy the one genuine thing I had ever experienced. Artemis felt a spark of surprise flicker in her gaze, and a glimmer dances in the shadows, whispering of possibilities yet to unfold. Once upon a time, she spoke those words. She took that step, and she embarked on a journey filled with wonder and discovery. It turned out to be true. For too long, I've allowed the shadows of fear and the weight of pride to stand between me and the greatest gift life has offered me. I draw in a deep breath. With a deep breath, I summon the courage to express what weighs on my heart. My heart belongs to you, Artemis. For weeks, my heart has whispered your name, yet fear held my tongue captive, preventing me from revealing the truth. Her facade shatters entirely, and I witness gentle droplets began to trace their way down her cheeks. In that moment, a wave of panic washed over me as you posed the question. For the cosmos. In that moment when you spoke of your mother being right, it struck me that perhaps we were worlds apart. To bring this to life. In a world full of similarities, we stand apart. I acknowledge it, yet that doesn't imply we are unable to. Let's bring this to life. It simply signifies that we must share our fears with one another, embracing the truth of what haunts us. With a gentle nod, she brushes away the tears that glisten in her eyes with the back of her hand. Shall we find a secluded spot to share our thoughts I wish to avoid? In the bustling corridor of a hospital, two figures exchanged words, their voices mingling with the sounds of footsteps and distant beeping machines. As I guided her up to the second floor, we entered the small chapel, a serene sanctuary that felt like a hidden gem, often reserved for those times when families find themselves facing their greatest challenges. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a soft glow began to emerge, illuminating the world in a warm embrace. Shadows danced playfully as the first stars twinkled in the deepening twilight, each one a tiny beacon of wonder in the vast expanse of the night sky. The air was filled with a sense of magic, as if the universe itself was whispering secrets to those who dared to listen. The light is softened, casting a gentle glow over the space where a handful of humble wooden pews are arranged, all directed towards a serene altar that welcomes all faiths. As we find our place, in the back pew, I find myself seated near her, the gentle warmth of her presence enveloping me. My sincerest apologies. Once upon a time, a journey started driven by a deep-seated need. Let me begin with this. In the depths of my heart, I regret the moments when fear took hold of me, causing me to distance myself and utter words that cut deep. I apologize for my actions. It seems as though your emotions were overlooked, as if they held no significance. With a gentle voice, she whispers, I'm sorry too. I regret not grasping the impact of my actions on you. I regret if I gave you the impression that you were in need of help, when my only desire was to reveal the depth of my feelings for you. In a stillness that envelops us, we take a moment to absorb the weight of what has just unfolded. There was a weight in the air, a tension that had lingered far too long. Then came the moment of truth, where words flowed like a river breaking free from a dam. Apologies danced on the lips, and with each confession, a sense of relief washed over, as if the sun had finally broken through the clouds. Honesty, once a distant dream, now felt like a warm embrace, bringing light to the shadows that had held them captive. In the stillness of the evening, faint sounds drift through the air, echoing from afar. The echoes of the hospital's bustling activity fade away, leaving us cocooned in our own little universe. Share with me what it frightens you, she finally admits. Is that true? Please share more so I can grasp it. With a deep breath, I search for the words to express emotions that have remained unspoken until now. For as long as I can remember, I have walked through the world, unnoticed a shadow, among the vibrant colors of life. Once upon a time, there was a young student who struggled to find their place in the world. They were a scholarship recipient, navigating the challenges of life with determination. In the same town, a dedicated nurse worked tirelessly, taking on double shifts, yet still found it hard to make ends meet. Their stories intertwined, revealing the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. As you gaze upon me as if I'm one of a kind, when you wish to invest in me and etch my name on grand structures, it fills me with a sense of dread. In the midst of confusion, a question lingers. seeking clarity in the shadows of uncertainty. What could a person like you ever find appealing in someone like me? Once upon a time, there was a girl who was just like you. Echoes and a sorrow lingers in her tone. It seems you're expressing a concern, as if there's a shadow cast over your true self. Esperanza, you are a beacon of strength in my life. You toil away through the most challenging hours, dedicating yourself to the task at hand, nurturing those who find themselves in fear and pain. Despite your own struggles, you find a way to send money back to your mother, showing your unwavering love and support. The costs that belong to you. In a moment of pure instinct, you draped your jacket over a stranger, an act of kindness that flowed effortlessly from your heart. Once upon a time, there was a moment that captured the essence of everything. It all comes down to the simple kindness we owe each other. I stand my ground, absolutely not. Many individuals might have. As the moonlight danced through the trees, a figure glided by, leaving a whisper of mystery in the air. Many would have looked at me and thought I was lost in a haze or wandering without a place to call home, choosing to steer clear of any connection. In a moment of urgency, you noticed a soul in distress. Without hesitation, you stepped in, offering your hand without a second thought, driven by a pure instinct to help, expecting nothing in return. That is the essence of your being, and it's truly remarkable. Her words weave through the hollow places within me, bringing warmth and light where there was once only silence. Them, with a comforting embrace, sturdy and reassuring. It feels rather ordinary. It simply resonates as the path of righteousness. That's precisely what sets it apart in a remarkable way. She pivots to meet my gaze completely. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there existed a unique individual. This person embarked on a journey navigating through the twists and turns of life, discovering new paths, and forging unforgettable connections. Each day brought new adventures, and with every step, they wove their own tale rich with experiences and dreams waiting to unfold. Curious about what sends shivers down my spine, in the shadows of my heart, a fear lingers, whispering that one day you might see me for who I truly am, and decide I'm not deserving of your love. Throughout my journey, I have dedicated every moment of my existence, constructing barriers to shield myself from the world, for those who were meant to care have either departed or taken advantage of my trust. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there existed a tale that began with a single word. My existence was merely a reflection of their grand ambitions, a piece in the puzzle of their thriving enterprise. While others saw a fortune, you saw me. In a moment of fragility and despair, you recognized a soul deserving of compassion. Without a doubt, you deserve all the love in the world, I tell you. As he extended his arm, his fingers brushed against her palm, a silent invitation lingering in the air. Your brilliance and generosity shine brightly, inspiring me to reach beyond my wildest dreams. It might be achievable, yet she confesses her uncertainty about navigating a relationship without the urge to mend everything. When my heart is invested, when I see someone in need, my heart urges me to tap into my resources and weave a little magic to brighten their days. In the heart of the hospital, the pediatric wing buzzed with life, while a special dinner awaited your arrival. In the heart of the workplace, where laughter mingles with the hum of productivity, a gesture unfolds. A colleague steps forward, extending a hand ready to lift the weight of student loans. This act, simple yet profound, blossoms from a wellspring of care and camaraderie, reminding us that in this shared journey, love often takes unexpected forms. Yet I can perceive how it likely unfolded, was experienced by you. It felt as though you were reaching out, hoping to win my heart, I say softly. As if you hadn't, I believe I could cherish you for your true self, but you needed to provide me with justifications. With a gentle nod, she gazes down at the connection of our hands, a moment suspended in time. Once upon a time, there was a person who had a story to tell. I've always longed for someone who would embrace me for who I truly am. I'm uncertain about placing my trust in that. It exists even if you can't see the evidence. The evidence lies not in what you can offer me, I say to her. It's in the way you lean in when I share stories about my patients. It's the way you recall my mother's name and inquire about her well-being. Your unwavering support in front of your mother, even at the cost of your own family, speaks volumes about your love for me. Those things are priceless, yet they hold immense significance. As the stars twinkle above, we find ourselves lost in conversation, unveiling the shadows of our hearts and the secrets we've kept hidden for so long. She shares her tale of solitude, recounting the shadows of her upbringing marked by emotional neglect, revealing how she came to link love with the tangible, the material. Gestures, for they were the sole expression of love her parents ever offered. As I share my thoughts with her, I express the weight of expectation that seems to linger over me. Show me that I am worthy of the blessings that come my way. Once I found myself wrestling with a heavy heart burdened by the desire for something greater than the life that had been handed to me. The shadows of my past whispered doubts, yet a flicker of hope ignited within, urging me to seek the dreams that lay just beyond my reach. I wish for you not to transform yourself, I whisper as the first light of dawn begins to seep through the chapel windows. Your kindness knows no bounds, is a piece of what draws me to you. I long for the assurance that you view me as an equal companion rather than just a task to be completed. You hold a special place in my heart. Partner, she declares with conviction. In a world filled with masks and facades, you emerged as the one who allowed me to shed all pretense, embracing my true self without hesitation. I do not. I have no desire to alter you in any way. I wish to uplift your aspirations while keeping things light and manageable. I long to immerse myself in your realm rather than attempting to draw you into my own. Imagine a realm we could create side by side. I propose we create a space that belongs to us, a place where we can both thrive, embrace our true selves. Her smile breaks through the night, illuminating everything around her, like the dawn after a long, dark evening. On the horizon, something is approaching. I would truly enjoy that. As we step out of the chapel, the hospital begins to unfold before us, to awaken with the dawn of a new shift. As the dawn broke, the ICU nurses shared the reassuring news that Mrs. Vale had a stable night, and with that, Artemis embarked on her journey. I will keep her company as I wrap up my own shift. As I prepare to depart, she inquires if I would like to share a breakfast with her, and the what once seemed like a straightforward request now feels like a precious gift 6 months down the line. Our journey together unfolds in ways I never imagined, and everything unfolded just as I dreamed. At Metro General, my journey continues, but I'm also venturing into new horizons. Began a journey in a nurse practitioner program at the university. Artemis extended a generous hand, proposing to cover my tuition, yet we found a middle ground. With her guidance, I discovered scholarships and grants that would alleviate most of the expenses. I'm covering the rest on my own, and the satisfaction I gain from achieving my education makes every extra hour I put in feel truly worthwhile. Artemis has discovered the art of expressing affection in gentler paths. During those long night shifts, she surprises me with coffee, but not just for me, she brings enough to share with the entire team, so I don't have to worry about anyone going without. Experience a sense of isolation. She recalls the times when I faced crucial exams, reaching out with uplifting messages that filled me with confidence. Once upon a time, in a moment that changed everything, my mother came to stay for a week, and Artemis decided to take a break from work to be with us. Together, we immersed ourselves in the art of crafting my grandmother's cherished tamale recipe. As we settled into our new apartment, I found myself reminiscing about my childhood, sharing tales that danced through the air like whispers of the past, each one more vivid than the last. This place, so much nicer than where I once lived, felt like a canvas for new memories waiting to be painted. Location yet not so costly that I sense I'm merely basking in her fortune. It resides within, in a quaint neighborhood nestled between the hospital and her office. There lies a charming balcony where we savor our morning coffee, sharing stories and laughter as the day begins. The moments we share. Yet an unexpected bond has blossomed between Mrs. Vale and me. She remains challenging and exacting, yet she has begun to inquire about my exploring and sometimes recounting tales from Artemis's early years. She embarks on a journey of discovery. Gradually, she began to perceive me as something beyond merely her daughter's partner. It's not quite the bond of friendship, but it's a step forward. This evening signifies a full year since that fateful night when I discovered Artemis waiting in the hospital lobby. She found herself toiling into the night in a world where two powerful entities collide. A transformation unfolds, weaving together their destinies in a dance of ambition and strategy. As they join forces, the landscape shifts and new possibilities emerge, setting the stage for a thrilling journey ahead. Agreed. Tonight I find myself stepping in for a colleague who needed a little break from the hustle and bustle. As the clock strikes midnight, I embark on a As I take a break and wander through the hospital, I find myself revisiting the familiar spaces that have woven themselves into the fabric of our journey. The lobby holds a serene stillness reminiscent of a tranquil moment. On that February night, the air was thick with anticipation. The familiar discomfort of the chairs, the unyielding glare of the fluorescent lights, the lingering feeling of unease, individuals gathered, hearts pounding, anticipating the moment that could transform their destinies forever. As I stroll by the very chairs where our paths first crossed, in the dim light, a well-known silhouette huddled in the shadows, lost in thought. In the quiet of the room, Artemis rests peacefully in the very chair where our paths first crossed a year ago. With her head tilted at an awkward angle, the creases in her business suit told the tale of a long, arduous day. She must have arrived without delay. From the office, a sense of anticipation filled the air as I awaited the moment to finally step away from the day's duties. Her sleeping form exudes a sense of vulnerability that brings me back to that unforgettable first night when I opened my locker and retrieved my grandmother's leather jacket, the very same. On that chilly February evening, I enveloped her in warmth. It has transformed into a cherished symbol. In a way, it serves as a testament to our journey, highlighting the distance we've traveled and the invaluable lessons we've gathered about affection, faith, and companionship. With careful steps, I moved closer, ensuring my presence was soft and unassuming. As I reached her, I tenderly placed the jacket over her shoulders, a gentle gesture meant to offer warmth and comfort. The leather radiates a comforting warmth. From the warmth in my locker, I gently wrap it around her arms, reminiscent of that magical first night. She begins to mix. She stirs just a little, yet remains in her peaceful slumber, and I find myself content to simply observe her for a moment, in awe of how profoundly my life has transformed. Transformed. It all began with a single heartfelt gesture. "Thank you," she whispers softly, her eyes still cast down. Her eyes meet mine, and in that moment I understand she has been awake all along. In the quiet moments, I softly respond, finding my place. He settled into the chair beside her, the soft fabric embracing him as he prepared to share in the moment. As she awakens, a gentle smile graces her lips, the very same luminous smile that initially stole my heart away. I was lost in the memories of that night. She whispers, her voice filled with nostalgia. It was a night like no other, a moment etched in my memory. Forever, when you became my hero. You rescued my heart as well. As I share my thoughts with her, he leaned in gently, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead. You showed me the value of love, the strength in kindness, and the importance of embracing, taking care of one another doesn't mean we have to forget who we are. She rises, drawing me nearer. The jacket slipped from my shoulders, wrapping around us both in a warm embrace. My heart is forever yours, Esperanza Morales. Once upon a time, in a world filled with endless possibilities, there was a singular being embarking on a journey of self-discovery. This individual, with dreams as vast as the sky, sought to uncover the mysteries that lay ahead. Each step taken was a new chapter filled with adventures waiting to unfold. Your strength shines brightly, your compassion warms the heart, and your unwavering independence is truly admirable. Your presence inspires me to strive for greatness, as I embrace my true self. My heart echoes your sentiment, Artemis Vale. Your essence captivates me. In a world where kindness flows freely, your openness shines like a beacon, and your unwavering devotion stands as a testament to the strength of your heart. Your ability to recognize the goodness in others, even when they struggle to see it themselves, is truly inspiring. Discover it within themselves. In the hospital lobby where our journey first unfolded, we find ourselves side by side once more, enveloped in the very same jacket that united us in a remarkable way. Once strangers from distant realms, they have now united as companions, crafting a wondrous creation side by side. The whispers we share they may seem straightforward, yet they hold the profound essence of all we've discovered about affection and faith, along with the bravery required to open our hearts. Someone really understands you. I am the journey that stretches far and wide. The echoes of the hospital resonate around me, a symphony of dedication and care unfolding in every corner. Individuals during their times of greatest fragility. Tomorrow I shall return to the ward, and in the quiet of her office, Artemis will be found surrounded by the whispers of her thoughts and the glow of her ambitions. Yet this evening we find ourselves precisely in our rightful place, enveloped in a cocoon of affection and comfort, they found solace in each other's presence. The enchanting vision of all the days ahead that we will embrace together. The jacket that once pulled her from the brink now stands as a testament to all that she has endured. The journey we've embarked on side by side. Once upon a time, in a world where even the tiniest gestures held immense power, a simple act of kindness blossomed into something extraordinary, transforming lives in ways no one could have imagined. As we find ourselves enveloped in stillness, in the lobby, a sense of anticipation fills the air. For I am convinced that this marks merely the start of our journey, not its conclusion.